question number 1 comes from Susie. She says, my question wasn't answered last week, so I'll try it again. Last June,
Is she angry?
No.
Okay.
Last June, I adopted a purebred with Sinji. His former owners had bought him from a puppy mill and banished him to their backyard for 2 years. He wasn't housebroken, not socialized, and didn't have any manners. When I adopted him, he wasn't housebroken, had issues with resource guarding, etc. I was able to overcome that. He has no resource guarding. His main issue is now leash reactivity. Another dog ran up to us while I was walking him and tried to attack him. Ever since that day, he's had issues with dogs coming up to him while he's on leash. It's gradually become worse and was to the point where he redirected toward me when he encountered dogs on leash. He bit me on 4 separate occasions because of it. I started hand feeding him and working him with a correctional collar and e-collar. It helps tremendously and he no longer redirects on me. However, he's still reactive on leash. Most of the time it happens when the other dog is super excited, but sometimes it doesn't matter. It's always that initial meeting to a dog he doesn't know that he reacts to. After 5 minutes or so, he becomes calm. She bought the pet convincer, you know, it's always just the initial meet. How do I fix this? How much of a correction do I give? Do I correct the behavior as soon as I see the hackles stand up or wrinkles on the forehead? It's easy to see when he gets that arousal.
Quite a question.
Yes.
Woo!
It's a good one.
Okay, so mostly I'm having a hard time reading my notes because it's covered in Indian food.
Let me just start out with this, Susie, for you.
Whoa.
So we're going to jump into something that we're going to try to do more in Q&A here, which is basically a little bit of like...
Tough love?
Showing, no, a little, I think we got plenty of that. A little bit of more demonstration stuff. So, creeper cam. So I want to show you right now, I don't know, but we both had this impression that maybe you're letting your dog, and it could be wrong, but if we're wrong, then this is still going to be valuable, but if we're right, like definitely listen up. So we have a feeling that you might be letting your dog meet other dogs on leash. So you said that first it was an off-leash dog that ran up, but then after that he has trouble every time he meets dog on leash.
Yeah.
Our hope is that it's just that it's surprise meets, but if it is on purpose meets, like, hey, can my dog meet your dog? We want to make sure that that's not happening. So here is an example of how you should not let a dog meet on leash.
Yeah. She just wants to say hi. So your dog's aggressive? My dog's friendly. She goes to doggy daycare. She won't bite. Your dog's aggressive. You need to get him under control.
So your dog's aggressive.
That's awesome.
Here's an example of how maybe you should handle it, because it's hard when owners come up and they're like, hey, can my dog meet your dog? We know that's a hard question. We deal with this all the time. So here's a good way to deal with that.
Is your dog friendly?
He's in training. He's not friendly. He's nervous about other dogs. We don't meet on leash. He bites. Hi everybody, this is Shelby from The Good Dog.
Hi everybody, this is Audrey from The Good Dog.
The rules for when you're walking your dog and someone wants to meet on leash are:
Stay away from harnesses.
create space,
Stay away from flexi leash.
keep your dog in a good heel position.
Don't be pressured by someone trying to meet your dog.
When all else fails, tell them he bites.
Wow.
Cool.
I love being able to cut this stuff in.
Yes.
Highly educational.
Yes.
Give people better perspective.
Definitely fun. Yep.
Can I jump in a little bit and
Please.
give some
Please do. Now it's all you, baby.
some Indian food fused clarity?
Yep.
Okay. So for one,
Timer.
timer. So I'm glad the e-collar is working for you. So it sounds like the e-collar is really helping out. That's really good news. If you are letting dogs, and I know Laura just covered that, but if you are letting dogs or your dog meet on leash, what you systematically are doing, whether you know it or not, I know your intentions, if this is happening, are to create relationships and let your dog have friends and things like that. 9 out of 10 dogs that show up, or clients that show up here with dog reactivity or dog aggression problems, I want everybody who's watching this to hear this loud and clear, happens from Dog parks, dogs getting manhandled at dog parks and being stressed out, doggy daycares, dogs being bullied, or even if they're not attacked, just bullied and pressured at doggy daycare, and so they lose trust in dogs, or dogs being forced to meet on leash, which are highly stressed, highly loaded situations, and then you might have 75 meets on leash, and you're like, what is that Sean talking about? We meet dogs all the time, and then boom, you get the one dog where you bring your dog over and the dog goes after your dog, lights your dog up, bites him, puncture wounds, scares the hell out of him. Maybe doesn't even make contact, but scares the hell out of him, traumatizes them. And then what happens? It's super clear. Your dog once again loses trust again in dogs, but also in you, keeping him safe. So if there is any component of you allowing dogs to meet on leash, you're setting yourself and your dog up for more challenge and failure, and I know that's not what you're wanting to do, but it's an easy one to make the mistake on. So many owners do. So let's hope that that's not happening, but if it is, that's my advice. Get rid of it, be done with it. How's my time looking? Good. So the other stuff, I just covered everything, man. I just blew right through that. So the other thing that I would say is create foundation training with your dog. Dog's already on e-collar. So you should be doing sit, down, place, recall, e-collar, heel, and creating a fundamental comprehensive state of mind for your dog, transformation that's more positive and more healthy, right? Every time we hear about people going out and trying to deal with reactivity or aggression or whatever it is in a symptomatic, singular one thing, that they're trying to fix, always the hardest thing. It's the least leveraged, it's the most challenging, and you're going to find, thank you, Laura, and you're going to find that it's going to be the least efficient and efficacious, I think that's a big word, efficacious way of going about making this happen. So if your dog came here and you were like, this is what we've got going on, and you came into our board and train, I would not take your dog out and start working on reactivity. I would get your dog to be fantastic in a crate, fantastic at thresholds, fantastic at heel, do not move, the immaculate heel you've heard me talk about. Do not move, do not sniff, do not stare. Now I've got leverage. Your dog sees another dog, quick tap on the e-collar, knock it off, don't stare, don't get into that. Right. But that's all predicated on me using enough space to where I don't pressure my dog and put him into a situation where he has no choice but to explode. So oncoming dogs, Laura, me, Britt, everybody, we've all got great dogs. We still give a wide berth. We still move around other dogs. We don't ever put our dogs in a situation where they can't feel safe and trust us to advocate for them. So that's your gig, right? And once you get really good at that, if you really go through our videos, our e-collar, our DVD prong, or our free videos, you really go through that stuff and you kick butt, time's flying, and you really kick butt, what you'll find is that space you need to keep your dog cool, comfortable, and safe will get smaller and smaller and smaller. But that's the process, that's the art. Create leverage, create permission-based reality or relationship, and then move from there and then see what you get. And I'm out with minutes to spare.
Whoa, look at you.
I got no worries.
Nice.
You guys realize that there's an ongoing issue with me being long in the tooth. Sorry, Ladon.
Sorry, Ladon.
And it's always a challenge for me to get answers out that don't.
It's fine.
That aren't as the Beatles said, the long and winding road.
You're just passionate. All right.